Amanda here with Homeschool and Life, and I hope that you guys are all enjoying all of your holiday festivities and just getting ready to wind your semester down for a small break with your families and your kids. So that's what we're doing over here. But anytime we head into a break, it's always a good time for me to take a minute and pause and just figure out, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what do I want to change for going into the new year. And so I've been kind of thinking about that lately. So I'm going to share with you guys some of the things that I'm going to change and do differently going into our January semester. Specifically, I am going to share about history and our, I don't know what you call it, English grammar writing. And then I'll make a separate video and tell you how I'm going to change up our morning basket time. But I guess I'm going to start with these two because they are the ones I'm going to do the most different on. Usually I haven't had to switch a lot up mid-years, like mid-year in the, I don't know how many years, 10, 12 years we've been homeschooling. But this year I am going to a little bit. Nothing too major, but just enough to make it work for our family and make it work better for us. And that's kind of the joy, perk, blessing of being able to homeschool and figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I'll link to the video, but in the beginning I shared that for my freshman is getting her world history credit this year, and so we chose the Masterbrook's World History, and we chose that because it was like a shotgun of history from beginning to modern. And I feel like history is one thing that we do really well in our family and have done well. And so when choosing the world history curriculum, I didn't want to do one that only did like, certain time periods. I wanted to just kind of, because this would have been her last world history go around. And so I wanted it to just be a overview of all of it. And that's what Masterbooks did. And I typically love Masterbooks, but we have struggled a little bit. Nothing bad, because like I said, I love Masterbooks, but it's just set up differently than what we're used to. So the way that this one is set up is it takes each country almost and has 4 lessons with them, and then that's it. And so it's just trying to cover like a very big overview of the country. And so we would go from country to country, and then you're switching back and forth on like the time periods. Like the first day it's almost giving you an overview, the last day you're talking about religion, and then day 2 and 3 you're basically trying to cover all the high points of their history. And so my kids were getting confused and just are not following it super well. But that's because we've done upside down. We have used Story of the World since they were in elementary, mixed in with Masterbooks and mixed in with, what's that one called? It's right here. Oh, Mystery of History. I'm sorry. So we have done Story of the World and Mystery of History since they were in elementary. They've gone through each of these books twice, and the theory is that, they get it once as a kid and you're doing all the fun hands-on activity. Then they get it again when they're a little bit older and they're remembering more and you're getting to go a little bit deeper. And then when they get in high school and they're getting their credits for American history, world history, whatever, they're going to have a lot of good background knowledge. And so that's kind of the theory behind it. But the way these are set up is they are done more chronologically. So the chapters, it'll go through, like each book is a different era. So you'll go and know it's Story of the World, what's going around in the whole world during this time period. So for us to make the switch to just studying a country at a time, was a little bit tough. And I also like the Story of the World, all their teacher books. If you don't have their teacher books and you're using them, they're very much worth the money because they have like tons of reading suggestions, tons of activities. There's no way you could do them all, but it gives enough reading suggestions and activity suggestions to really tailor it to any age. So with this, I feel like, sorry, it's upside down again. This was kind of like, if you watched our video, and I'll link to it, how Lauren and I did Knotgrass history last year. We ended up pulling in a lot of stuff, and I feel like we had a really good history year, and I feel like I'm having to do the same thing with this one. So I'm not abandoning the Masterbooks World History book. I'm going to keep it, but it's just going to take a little bit a lot of extra planning on me. So we stopped, and then when we come back in January, I think we're going to South America. So I'm going to go through these books, the indexes, and I'm going to pull out all the you couldn't do them all the chapters that I think are like the high points, extremely important, and we're going to go over these during the week. Use that for material, and I'll just still read these chapters to see what I think is the most important. So on day 1, I'm going to start whatever country we're doing, day 1 of the week, and we're going to do a timeline of that country, like a high point timeline. That's something I haven't been doing with them this semester. And then days 2 through 4, 2, 3, 4, whatever, however I do it, we do it kind of in a block scheduling. I'm going to just pull out what I think is the most important from our other books. But something I do like about the Master Books World History that is great for high school is it goes over, I'm trying to get to the page, in the back, a lot of the, oh, you can't really see that, comparative worldviews. And so that is definitely a great high school ad to go over. So that's basically how I'm going to change it up. I did buy the teacher books to go with these. Actually, I bought a couple so I didn't have to make copies. And just the assignments are real basic for my high schoolers, and it always ends with one writing assignment. Like the day 5 is typically a bigger writing assignment. I don't always make them do that, but I guess my number one change is I'm just going to be committed to bringing in other resources and starting the week off with a timeline, realizing that my family's brain works better than jumping around inside the one country like that. Not a huge change, but you know, when you're as a homeschool mom needing to spend a little bit more time planning or anything like that, you don't always necessarily have the time, but it's not a bad thing because it lets you really think about what is beneficial and worth it. So the question being, would I buy Master Books History again for the World History credit? I think so, because I do like that it's from beginning to end, and I feel like that we've done Story of the World twice, or Mystery of History, or whatever, that it is a great wrap-up. But I am glad that I'm going to pull in some of the deeper and richer stories and richer parts of history that I can get from some of the other books. So that's one change I'm going to make. So that's my mid-year update on that one. So my next one is Writing and Grammar BJU. This was our first year ever to do like a traditional writing grammar textbook. It's not really for us, I don't think. What we have always used is like IEW for our writing and like Fix It Grammar, and it has been like great. We've like really loved it. I feel like the kids are like really grasping onto writing. I feel like they've gotten the grammar, but when you do something for so many years, everybody in your family is sometimes just like, oh, can we do something different? And I said, sure, we can try something different. And my older ones wanted to know if everything they learned from IEW, if it would transfer over to like some of these just writing assignments in the BJU textbook. And they have, so I would say that's good. But, so BJU, here's my little update on that. It is made for a Christian classroom. And so if you bought the teacher books with it, there's lots of things in the teacher book that say, you know, do this or do that. And so I emailed them and I was like, what is this talking about? And they're like, oh, you have to buy the classroom stuff. And I'm like, well, we're a homeschool. And so like financially, it's not beneficial or worth it for that because it's kind of expensive. And so this is more definitely geared to a Christian classroom as opposed to a Christian homeschool. And like there are just an excess amount of grammar questions, and they do, like the way it's done, it's like several, like the grammar, and then you'll have a writing workshop, grammar, and then a writing workshop. And so I have been finding that I'm like, I'm not really liking that. So, because I just don't see the point in doing like a billion grammar problems if they've got it. So here's how I'm going to switch that one up for my high schooler. She is a freshman, so I just went and bought over just a couple weeks ago at Mardell, grade 10 easy grammar. And so it was important. She wanted to make sure that she was not missing anything grammar she might need. She's very responsible. And so these are going to be like 1 page is a day. And so since I bumped a grade up, she's going to get 1 page of grammar a day. This will not take very long at all. And that's going to leave us more time to do better writing assignments. So I'm still going to use the BJU writing workshops. So I'm just going to go to them, whatever chapter that writing workshop is, I'm going to tear it out, and that will be their writing project while they're still getting their grammar. So let me look and see what, like they're going to do a research paper, they're going to write a memoir, they're going to write an article, they're going to do a history paper, they're going to write a narrative essay. So you're still going to get all those pieces of writing, but like she'll just constantly be working on a writing piece, and we're just going to probably skip most of those, the grammar days, because I would rather them have their grammar short and more emphasis on the writing at the age that they're at. And I shared in my freshman video that I had bought this, the high school writing intensive. We've only been able to do probably 1 lesson out of it just because time, and so that's going to allow us to have more time to make our writing assignments be more rich, in depth, and focus on them, whether it be doing one of these or taking one of our history sections and doing a writing project on that, whether I get the idea out of the master books, teacher workbook, or if I get the writing assignment out of the story of the world, because I think it's just, they'll just learn better like that. So that's one way that I'm changing that up. We're going to skip a lot of the grammar in this book and switch to just like a few minutes a day of the easy grammar. Would I recommend that for every single person? No, not necessarily. If your child is a great writer, has a great concept of grammar already, doing 50 questions on circling the preposition is not going to help them as much as doing a quick thing, making sure they understand how to use prepositions, how to use, dependent and independent clauses, and then do well writing. So that's where I'm going to do that. But I will say I think our IEW Fix-It Grammar and our IEW Writing in our elementary years has been a great foundation for that. And even the great Christian stories in the January, I think we're going to switch over to the hiding place. There's several good writing projects in that. So I guess my main emphasis is we're going to switch to focusing way more on writing for those particular kids. But I don't want to sound super negative against BJU. I probably would not buy their writing and grammar again. But I never want to be negative about anything, just more honest. So I will say that BJU has the best Spanish program. Didn't plan on talking about the Spanish program, but they're doing that, and it is very well done. Like, the kids are absolutely learning. It takes them a long time every day. I guess I'll just recap on that one too. There are 1 billion lessons a day on the BJU Spanish, but they are actually learning the Spanish. So one way that I've had to change on that one is I have had them set a timer, 45 minutes max, and they do it 5 days a week. And I can do that because when I tell them to set a timer, if you had a kid who was like, just twirl their pencil for the 45 minutes, that wouldn't work. But they were spending well over an hour and a half every day on an elective 5 days a week. And I was like, okay, that's too much for our time management. So we set a timer for 45 minutes and we work on the Spanish for 45 minutes every day. And you just get done what you can get done because the end goal is actually to learn it. So it will take them 1.5 years to finish Spanish 1 instead of 1 year. But it doesn't matter. That is okay. Because when you purchase it, you get it for however many days and we'll still be within that window. And so I feel like it's a good program. We're just having to modify it for our schedule. So that is my mid-year update for Master Books World History and our writing and grammar. And I guess I threw in a little bit of Spanish. I'm excited about the changes we're going to make. I think it's going to suit everybody better. It'll be a little more planning on me, but now that I've got my head wrapped around how I want to do it, I feel good and excited about the new direction. Because like I said, when Lauren and I on Knot Grass, when we got to a section where we just started pulling in stuff, the kids said it was one of their best history years ever. So that's where we scour YouTube for cool videos. We have to make sure they're accurate and just activities and things like that. Because something that I think in your homeschool is that you cannot do everything awesome. Like you just cannot, like, especially when you're teaching multiple grades, multiple subjects, you cannot do everything awesome all the time. And so kind of one of my goals is to always do at least, I want to do several, but do one subject at least really, really well. You will feel better about doing at least one subject really, really well than just barely doing anything good on all of them. So we're going to have a good history and a good writing in our second semester. So I will also make a video to share what we're changing in Book Basket and how our Shorman math is going. But for right now, that's all I'm going to say. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in for Homeschool and Life. If you would like to know more stuff about how we do stuff or have any questions, Lauren and I love those. They're super fun. And follow us on Instagram. We are not always posters on Instagram because we like YouTube better, and we are most of the time during the day working on schooling our kids. So anyways, thanks for watching.